If you are a youth struggling to find your direction, this is for you. Here at our SG Stories, we deliver interviews that unearth little-known stories which educates and inspire.
And look at what is 90% work. Don't look at what is the 10% work. Every job has got exceptional moments. Don't be an adult prematurely.
Our first season will be focusing on career choices and experiences. Presenting to you, Episode 1.
Okay. Welcome to our first episode of our SG Stories. Today we're here with Principal of Raffles Institution, Mr. Aaron Loh. Mr. Loh, thanks so much for being here.
Not at all. Pleasure.
So maybe we could start off by doing a bit of two truths, one lie, so the viewers get to know you better.
Okay, sure. Okay, first is I'm a big fan of romantic comedies. 2 is I have 4 children. And 3 is I've spent an afternoon with Jackie Chan.
I feel like that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's meant to be tough.
I think the first one is a lie because
Why?
I feel like you're not really the type to watch romantic comedies very much. Maybe action.
Okay.
Historical.
Okay, so you want me to tell you which one I like?
Yes, you can share with us.
Okay, actually he's right.
Oh,
I'm not a huge fan of romantic comedies at all. Yeah. Actually, I'm more of a science fiction fan. So I watch pretty much a lot of science fiction films, and I read a lot of science fiction. My phone case is Mandalorian. From Mandalorian. So I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd. So yeah, definitely. Romantic comedies are okay, but not really my kind of thing. So not bad, pretty good.
thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to share more about what's a day in your life like, Raffles?
Oh, at Raffles?
Yeah, being a principal.
Oh my word. Okay. Why don't I tell you about some of the highlights of my day? So some of the highlights of my day are actually being at flag raising, because I kind of like to see how everybody's doing. Actually, the other high point, strangely speaking, is I love having meetings. Right? And the reason why I love having meetings with deputy principals or HODs is because we kind of talk about important things about school and we can get things done. Right? So for me, I'm by nature a bit of an impatient person, so I want to get things done as quickly as possible. And so in short, right, actually a lot of my day is non-stop problem solving. Actually, right? A variety of issues come up, we solve them, and if I can solve all of them, we can really help get to the other part of the work, which is pushing the school forward and doing things. Yeah, so that's my day in a nutshell.
Right, so actually, before this you were doing IP policy at the Ministry of Law.
Oh, wow, you're going back quite far. You all will not remember this, but all the way back, Singapore had a pretty bad reputation as a center for piracy, intellectual property piracy. There were a lot of people selling pirated video CDs and DVDs, right? And we had a bit of an issue in terms of that. So it was interesting because I had to go on raids with the police to raid all these illegal VCD shops and arrest people. And then when you go back 1 hour later, they got open up again, because it's just different people, right? So, but a lot of my job was drafting legislation, right? Or contributing to the drafting of legislation.
So from patents, copyrights, to catching bad people to
Yeah.
education, it's quite a big switch. So what made
Okay. So actually, education has always been my career. So the Ministry of Law was a bit of a detour, but that's how I posted. Right? So to your question as to why, right? I would say I've never really had a choice in terms of what I do in the ministry, but it has been always very good. I've always enjoyed. I've enjoyed every posting I've done. The difficult ones and the sometimes not so enjoyable moments, but it's the not so enjoyable moments that you learn a lot, right? And then the enjoyable ones, you just be thankful.
So if you don't mind, maybe what's one of those not so enjoyable moments and
Oh.
what have you learned from it?
Yeah, I mean, I love teaching Shakespeare, teaching poetry, and then to switch over to the Ministry of Law, where this is completely alien to me, right? Policy making, legislative amendments, right? Going to Parliament, clearing amendment acts and all that. The first 6 months I had a really hard time, right? Because I felt like I wasn't suited to the job, right? I felt like this is not what I signed up for, right? I mean, I signed up to be a teacher, I signed up for education, I didn't sign up to do this. So it was tough. I felt like all the things I was good at, I couldn't do. So I was good at relating to students, teaching. I can't do that here. Instead, you asked me to do a very detailed kind of legal language and scrubbing all of that and all that. very hard, very discouraging, right? But I would say after the first 6 months, to tough it out, you learn how to do things. You figure, hey, actually I can contribute. Actually, I have my ideas are not too bad. I can value add to the team, right? Then you start gaining confidence, and then it got better from there. And in fact, actually, I learned a lot. I learned a tremendous amount.
So after that stint, you went back to education.
Yeah.
Stayed there ever since. So would you say you found your calling?
I would say so. I would say so. I mean, it has been, like I said, I've enjoyed every posting. And one of the things that has been common throughout is I've worked with some really amazing people, right? And when I say amazing people, I mean not just in terms of their capability, how bright they are, how such good ideas they have, but really just like very mission-oriented, purpose-driven, really like values-based people. They're doing things not for their own gain, they're not doing things for money, but they're doing it because they love the students. And I've always been sort of in secondary and JC, so I haven't worked with primary school students, but adolescents can be tough. I don't know whether you all agree, but it can be hard, And if you have strong family support and you have strong social network, that's fine, and then you kind of tough it out and go through. But many young people don't have that, don't have strong family support, don't have a strong social network. Then the school becomes a very important place to support them through some of these times. And so these people who are my colleagues, right, some of my bosses, right, my staff, it's been a real honor and privilege to serve with them, and that's something that kind of makes me going.
I think it's really inspirational that you're so driven by this mission, and you meet so many amazing people also driven by the same mission.
For sure.
So for this, this decade plus in education, what's the most impactful thing, the most impactful lesson that you've learned?
Actually, the most important thing in learning is actually the people. As a student, the relationships with you, the friendships that you make. But as an educator, also it is the students that you come in contact with that you can guide, you can make a difference in their lives, right? The staff that, if you're in a position of authority, a position of responsibility, you can make their lives better, right? You can make good decisions, sound decisions, so that they enjoy coming to work. You can create a good school environment so people enjoy their work, they do the best work that they can. I think that's super important. And as someone who is hopefully, eventually you guys also, someone who eventually will have some degree of authority or some degree of responsibility, you can do a lot to make sure that your organization is healthy, is strong, treats people well, right? Treats them as whole people, and then lets them do the best work that they can. So that your customers, in our case, our students, well, not customers, the students, but in other cases, customers, can then have a great experience. They can grow and they can maximize their potential. So I would say most important is people, if you ask me right now. Yeah.
So in this first season of our SG Stories, it's really about youth, and the problem that youths like me, we're not sure about what direction to take in life, what path to take. So what's one piece of advice that you can give youth?
Okay, I guess the top piece of advice I would say is you really got to know yourself, okay, and be confident in what you know about yourself. Why do I think that's important? Let me just elaborate a little bit. I think it's very important for you to know what you like in terms of work, what you don't like in terms of your life. You've got to know yourself, how you respond to things. So, I'll give you an example. Like, are you the type that likes to do the same thing every day? Okay, and you enjoy that sort of rhythm, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are also other jobs that are like different every day, so or rather unpredictable. So, for example, being a school principal is one of those jobs, right? So I've gone into I was a VP once in a previous school. I went into to my job. There was a co-VP, so I asked the co-VP. It's my first time being a VP, so I've never been a VP for a vice principal. So I asked the VP, actually, what is the job? What's the job scope? Is there a document that tells me what my job is? Then she laughed at me. She laughed at me. She said, job scope? You do everything lah. Right? So I was like, oh, okay, I understand. Okay, I said, I do everything. And actually, it's true, right? So, for example, at one moment, there'll be a boy coming in, bleeding because they fell down. Okay, that's the care of it, right? Then the next thing will be a parent, right? Not happy because, the class was released late and they had to wait for students. You've got HODs asking you something about exam papers, right? Next moment, you've got, somebody found mosquito breeding somewhere in the school, you have to deal with that. with the NEA officer. So it's literally moment to moment. You never quite know what's going to happen. Right? And for some people, that will be tremendously stressful because you don't know what's going to happen. But for some people, it's tremendously energizing. Right? You say, yeah, I want to, because it's like, wow, it's so exciting, you don't know what's going to happen. And you have confidence, say, okay, I can deal with it. Right? So you got to know what you like. So I would say for young people, don't just look at the title of the job and say, I want to do this and do that. Go in and understand what is the work. And look at what is 90% work. Don't look at what is the 10% work. Every job has got exceptional moments, right? Like don't make decisions based on exceptional moments. Make a decision based on the day-to-day 90%. What are you doing? What's the grind? Right? And tell yourself, am I going to be happy doing this or not? And am I going to look forward to doing work? It's more important than your starting pay, if you ask me. Right? A lot of people fixate on starting pay. They say, wow, starting pay is so high. Right? Nowadays, data science, right? AI, wow, you see a starting pay. When I saw some starting pay, I also got shocked. I mean, that's like, dude, I waited how many years to earn that kind of money, in the fresh grad going in. But you've got to look past that and say, I'm going to be doing this job for like years. Am I going to enjoy what I do? To me, it's very important to enjoy it. Every job will have very difficult moments, and if you don't enjoy what you do, those difficult moments are like times 10 more difficult. If you enjoy them, you tough it out, okay, right? You tough out that period, and then you just carry on. Because you inherently you enjoy it. Right? So I think that's about to know yourself, to know what you like, what you don't like, be very honest about it. Right?
So we've spoken about passion, we've spoken about how different people are maybe more suited for different jobs, but underlying all of this, what are some skills or qualities you think we should develop in all fields?
Okay, I don't know whether this is kind of like stating obvious, but I would say one is work hard. Work hard. Don't be afraid of putting in the work, especially when you're first starting out. Right? Don't expect to come in, get a cushy job, and then just do the minimum, and then go travel. And okay, I know I sound like a boomer. I understand that. Actually, technically, I'm Gen X, but I'm in my soul, I'm a boomer. Okay, I admit that. But I would say when you go into a job, you got to put in the hours, put in the time. I'm not saying don't work smart, of course work smart, but work hard, learn the skills, right? Be really good at what you do, and that is not easy for the time to do, right? So that's one, right? Really don't be afraid of hard work, right? And don't look at it as like I'm just getting a paycheck. Right? I think by the time you look at your job as I'm just getting a paycheck, might be time to check out. Yeah, because I think that's probably not a great way to live. You've got to find meaning in what you do.
Is there any final message that you want to give our viewers?
Since I'm talking to youth, right, I would say you are only young once. Okay. I would like to think I'm young at heart, but physically you're only young once. So it may not be so fashionable to say this, but I would say you really got to enjoy yourself. Have fun. Enjoy your youth, Don't like be an adult prematurely. You know what I mean? You're like 18, don't behave as if you're like 45. Right? Make stupid jokes, right? Hang out with your friends, do crazy things. Like it's important to do these things because you're only young once. Right? And then when you think back, these are the things you're gonna remember. Hanging out late with friends, right? Doing safe things, not doing dangerous things. Doing safe things, but hanging out, making jokes, right, laughing at each other, right, just generally being young people.
You talk about resilience and hard work and how important it is to have these traits, but also for a young person to just enjoy yourself.
I feel so sad, when I see young people. I feel like I'm so stressed and so like, and part of it is if you get so fixated on the short term. The next day, the next week, the next test, the next exam, you can't lose sight of the longer term, which is actually all of this, after a few years, it will all pass.
That's definitely something for us to learn. So, thank you so much, Mr.
Sure. Pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me to have this opportunity.
Yes, and to our viewers, we'll see you in the next episode.